The last thing she told her husband was, "I regret marrying you." Minutes later, he was lying in a pool of blood, fighting for his life. But what broke her the most wasn't the accident. It was the truth she discovered after he died. Because while she was busy calling him a failure, he was secretly sacrificing everything, trying to build her dream life. A better house, a better future, all for her. Now, the man she called not enough is gone forever. And the words she spoke in anger will haunt her for the rest of her life. This is the story of how one sentence destroyed a love that was once unbreakable. In a quiet part of Accra, far from the noisy city center, Obinna and his wife Amaka lived in a small, aging apartment. The walls were cracked, the ceiling leaked when it rained, and their kitchen was barely big enough for one person, but their home was filled with something many wealthy houses lacked: peace. Obinna worked as a carpenter's assistant, learning slowly, earning little. Some days he came home exhausted, his hands rough and dusty, his shirt soaked with sweat. Amaka, on the other hand, sold vegetables by the roadside. She would wake up before dawn, arrange her tomatoes, peppers, and onions neatly, and greet every customer with a warm smile. They were not rich, but they were happy. Every evening, they sat outside on an old wooden bench. Sometimes they shared roasted corn, sometimes just stories. They laughed often, deep, genuine laughter that made neighbors smile without even knowing why. Obinna, Amaka would say playfully, leaning against him, "One day, we will leave this place and live in a big house." Obinna would chuckle. "As long as you are there with me, even this place is a mansion." That was their life. Simple, peaceful, beautiful. Until change came. Months later, Obinna got a better opportunity. A construction company he had been assisting noticed his dedication and offered him steady work. The pay wasn't huge, but it was consistent, and for the first time, things started improving. Slowly, they saved. Carefully, they planned. And eventually, they moved into a small apartment in a developing estate. To them, it was a dream come true. Clean surroundings, better buildings, new faces, a new life. At first, Amaka was excited. The women in the estate looked elegant, confident, and sophisticated. They dressed well, spoke boldly, and carried themselves with pride. They called themselves the Estate Sisters, a group of women who met regularly to talk about life, marriage, and success. Amaka admired them. She wanted to be like them. So she joined them. At the beginning, it felt harmless, just conversations, laughter, and bonding. But slowly, their words began to sink deep into her heart. One afternoon, as they sat together, one of the women looked at Amaka and asked casually, "So, what does your husband do?" "He works with a construction company," Amaka replied, smiling. "How much does he earn?" another asked, raising an eyebrow. Amaka hesitated. "It's not much, but we are managing." A soft laugh escaped from one of them. "Managing," she said. "My dear, a man is not supposed to manage. He is supposed to provide." Another added, "If your husband truly loves you, you won't still be struggling like this." Those words stayed with her. They didn't leave. Each meeting added more pressure. They talked about expensive gifts, vacations, and husbands who knew their responsibilities. They mocked women who were still enduring poverty in marriage. Amaka, who once felt content, began to feel ashamed. Why was her life different? Why was Obinna not doing more? Why was she still struggling? The thoughts grew louder. And slowly, they changed her. At home, the peace began to fade. Little things started to irritate her, the way Obinna spoke gently, the way he tried to avoid arguments, even the way he smiled after a long day. "Obinna," she snapped one evening, "is this how you want us to live forever?" Obinna looked at her, confused. "What do you mean?" "This life," she said angrily. "Look around you. Other men are doing better. What are you doing?" Obinna sighed softly. "Amaka, I'm trying. You know I am." "Your trying is not enough," she fired back. Silence fell. That was where everything began to break. Days passed, and the tension grew heavier. Amaka stopped laughing. She stopped sitting outside with him. Instead, she spent more time with the estate sisters, listening, comparing, and complaining. Obinna noticed the change. But he didn't know how to bring back the woman he loved. One night, after returning from work tired and hungry, he met another argument, this time over something as small as missing salt in the food. "Amaka, it's just food," he said gently. But she exploded. "Everything about you is just manage, she shouted. "I am tired of this life." Obinna stood still, his heart pounding. Then she said the words that would destroy everything. "I regret marrying you. If I had known, I would have chosen a better man." The words seemed to stop. Obinna stared at her, deep, long, broken. In that moment, something inside him shattered. Without saying a word, he turned and walked out into the night. No anger. No shouting. Just pain. And Amaka stood there, breathing heavily, still filled with pride. Not knowing that those were the last words she would ever say to her husband alive. The call came just 23 minutes after Obinna walked out. Amaka was still pacing the room, her chest rising and falling with anger, when her phone rang. An unfamiliar number. She almost ignored it, but something nudged her to pick up. "Hello," she said sharply. A hurried voice replied, "Madam, please, do you know a man named Obinna?" Her heart skipped. "Yes, he's my husband." "Why?" "There has been an accident. He was hit by a car while crossing the road. We are taking him to the hospital now. Please come quickly." The phone slipped from her hand. For a second, she couldn't move. Then panic took over. "Obinna," she screamed, grabbing her wrapper as she rushed out barefoot, her heart pounding louder than her thoughts. At the hospital, the smell of antiseptic filled the air. Nurses moved quickly. Voices overlapped. But Amaka saw only one thing, Obinna, lying still, his body covered in blood, machines beeping weakly around him. "Obinna," she whispered, trembling. His eyes were half open, barely conscious. She rushed to his side, grabbing his hand. "I'm here. I'm here, please don't leave me." His lips moved slightly. "Amaka," he breathed. Tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it, please, forgive me." He looked at her, not with anger, not with hatred, but with a quiet, painful peace. Then, with the last strength he had, he whispered, "I was doing it for you." Her heart broke. "What do you mean?" she cried. But Obinna didn't answer. The machine gave one long, continuous sound. Flat. Gone. Amaka screamed, a sound so deep, it felt like her soul was tearing apart. Days passed like a blur. The house became silent. Too silent, His clothes still hung where he left them. His slippers still sat by the door. Everything reminded her of him. But the loudest thing in that house was her own regret. The estate sisters came around, pretending to comfort her, but their words felt empty now. Their laughter, their advice, it all sounded like poison. She stopped answering their calls. Stopped stepping out. Stopped being herself. Then one afternoon, a man knocked on her door. "Are you Amaka?" he asked. "Yes," she replied weakly. "I worked with your husband," he said gently. "He asked me to give you this if anything ever happened to him." Her heart tightened. "What is it?" He handed her a small envelope and left. With shaking hands, Amaka opened it. Inside was a letter and a folded document. She began to read. "My Amaka, if you are reading this, it means I couldn't come back home one day. Please don't cry too much, because everything I did for you. I know I was not the best man in your eyes. I know you wanted more, and I was trying, Amaka. I was saving every extra money I had. I even took extra jobs without telling you, just so I could surprise you. The document you see is for a piece of land. I have been paying for it little by little. My plan was to finish it soon and start building our house, the kind you always dreamed of. I wanted to make you proud. I'm sorry I couldn't do it faster. But please, don't let this world change your heart. The woman I married was full of love. Don't lose her. I love you, always. Obinna." The paper fell from her hands. A loud cry escaped her lips as she collapsed to the floor. All this time, he was trying. He was building something. For her. The same man she called not enough, was secretly giving everything he had. Amaka screamed, hitting her chest. "Obinna, please come back. I didn't know. I didn't know." But it was too late. Weeks later, Amaka sold everything she had and completed the house Obinna started. Brick by brick, she watched it rise, not with joy, but with pain. When it was finally done, people admired it. Instead, she turned the house into a shelter for struggling couples, people like them, who once had nothing but love. Every day, she told her story. Not to seek pity, but to warn others. And every night, she sat alone, holding Obinna's letter, whispering apologies to a man who would never hear them again. She finally got the better life she once wanted. But the one person she wanted to share it with was gone forever. Moral lesson. Be careful of the voices you allow into your life. Comparison destroys contentment, and careless words can create permanent regrets. Value love while you still have it, because once it's gone, no amount of success can bring it back. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll past it broken heart. Take a second to like, share, and comment. Someone out there needs to hear this story today. And if you want more deep, emotional stories like this, subscribe for more animated African stories that teach, heal, and open your eyes. See you in the next one.